So anyway,
Good morning, viewers at home. Welcome to the program Super Dawn. I am Vera Super with you.
and I am Anthony Usaibovu with you on the Super Dawn this morning.
Well, this morning on the program, we're going to look through the papers, and away from the papers, we want to look at negotiating with armed groups. How appropriate. Well, that came to mind when we begin to look at what happened in 2014. That's the case of the Chibok girls, where 200 girls were abducted from their school. And away from 2014, loads of adoption, killings have been taking place. And we want to look at it because after 2 years of that incident, something happened again. After 2 years, some girls were released, and we want to look at it this morning, releasing the girls that was held in captivity after 2 years. And some kind of barter negotiation took place during that period, and those girls were released with the assistance of the Red Cross International Committee that actually brokered that peace during the period. And now, away from that period, we also have cases of where even in Lagos State, Ekpe, where some students also was taken away. They were taken away also. And now, another one happened this year, 2018. First happened where killings here and there in Benue Plateau, Taraba. And at the end of the day, we also saw that they also went to schools again, the Boko Haram insurgency, went to school again and adopted another 110 girls. And so this morning, we want to look at it. Is the tactics not risky to negotiate? Is this not risky? And if you say it is risky, what about the lives of these girls? So we want you to call during this period where we will talk about it. Let's know your thoughts on negotiating with armed or not. But put it in mind that they are lives of people, people's children, guardians, are on the other side praying for their girls to be released. So we want to look at it. Is the tactics of negotiating, is it risky or not? And so that's what we'll do today on this program. And during the newspaper segment, we'll open the lines for you to also call and make your contribution. Please, viewers, please watch what you say so I don't knock you off. We have guidelines on this program this morning. But you can also be part of this show through the YouTube super screen. Just click, because we are on live on YouTube, and you can share, like, and also subscribe. It doesn't take money to subscribe. Just press the button, subscribe, and that's it. And so we'll be on with us, and we'll be together on the show. It's going to be an interesting program this morning. We'll go on this break, and when we come back, we will continue with, we'll take up some stories in the newspaper. Stay with us.
Super Dawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen Television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. We want to continue. We want to start with the newspaper review. And then you can be part of it. The phone lines will be on for you to call and make your contributions. This morning we want to take a look at some stories in the Punch. And this says, Benue, Buhari queries IG, demands full report of police operation. In the Punch this morning, you will read the story. It started actually from yesterday, where the president, all the papers took it, that the president said the IG did not obey his instruction. But here says, let me give you the story. President Muhammad Buhari on Tuesday summoned the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, to the presidential villa in Abuja. Buhari seized the opportunity of the encounter to query Idris for flouting his directives that he should relocate to Benue State following the killings recorded in that state. Yes, we talked about this yesterday as well.
We talked about it yesterday, and we even did a street pop-up for the reports. As regards, we just needed to know what people thought about it. And yes, nobody's happy about it. And it is only right that the president, the president asked for the police reports. Like, if you said, although he hasn't, the IG hasn't said anything.
We're waiting for him to talk.
Yeah, the IG has to say something, but regardless, you disregarded the president's direct order. Go to Benue State and try and curb the killings. But you stayed there for just 24 hours and left.
I don't know, Anthony, I don't know. We're waiting for the IG's own side of the story. I just don't want us to keep talking about this without hearing from him. Did he obey or not? What happened, Mr. IG? We're still waiting for you to react to that story.
And make sure you submit your report.
Before I make my conclusion, I want to hear from him. Okay, we still have some stories here, and it says, girls abduction, BBOG threatens to sue federal government, reps begin probe. Bring back our girls, okay? At an adult, okay, let me get this. An ad hoc committee of the House of Representatives begin preliminary investigations into the abduction of 110 girls from the Government Girls Science and Technology College, DAPCHI, by the Boko Haram insurgents on February 19th. The committee, which is chaired by Mr. Buba Yusuf Yakub, said the latest abduction again raised the question on rising security challenges in the country. It suggests that our security challenges as a nation have become nastier and frightening, comprehensive to such an extent that life in Nigeria has become short and British. I think he's right about it.
I agree.
The killings are coming.
I agree.
Almost
Then
every day.
you think about it and you say, are there really security in Nigeria? Is the security agencies, are they really working? When you have 76 people killed, then later on you have so amount of people killed, and the killings just keep going on. And what we just keep hearing statements, and the senators, the people that we feel that they are supposed to help us curb the situation are just there talking. We'll help, we'll curb, we'll this, we'll that. It's only right that something needs to be done. And yes, I agree with what the BB said.
Bring back our girl said. Okay, the question I wanted to ask is this overwhelming? Is this overwhelming that they cannot handle it, or they're trying to be careful so that these girls won't be killed or something? I don't know. But we also have this story in the Punch. Senate, House consult as Buhari rejects elections reordering. President Muhammad Buhari has withheld his assent to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, which seeks to reorder the sequence of the poll in 2019. Buhari, in March 8, 2018, later written to both chambers of the National Assembly, said the amendment by the lawmakers were in conflict with the existing laws.
Okay, if it was in conflict with the existing laws, then it can be reviewed. But if it wasn't, well, like I said, and like we have always been saying on this program, is it really about the sequence? let's just move forward and let the 2019 general election just come. But my word out there, try and investigate, do a background check on whoever you're trying to vote out there. Vote into power, because at the end of the day, it's going to be on us.
Okay, we have in the papers this morning, it said Nigerians demand Rivers CP's resignation over Artisan torture by SARS. Some Nigerians have called for the resignation of the Commissioner of Police, Rivers State Command, Ahmed Zaki, for failing to produce operatives of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad to allegedly tortured an artisan, Lucky Joseph. This happened a few days ago or so, where he was tortured, and Nigerians are saying, you must produce that guy that did that. Those people, the SARS, that did that. Someone cannot be tortured to death. And since must produce.
And it's really not easy anyway. I mean, these people are security, should I say, agents, and you know what they say? You can't joke a joker, right? They know the tactics. They know these things, so it might not be that easy. So I just might want to implore on the citizens, the indigents, to be a little bit lenient. But at the same time, I think it's only right that they are produced.
Okay, we have this. Herdsmen killed 26, touched 11 houses in fresh Plateau attacks. The mass burial of the victims killed by suspected Fulani herdsmen in several communities in Bassa local government area, Plateau State, was on Tuesday disrupted by a fresh attack which left about 26 persons dead. The Punch, however, learned that the victims were later given a mass burial at a village, Minongo district. During the latest attack, which took place around 7 p.m. on Monday, 11 houses were also razed down. The Fulani terrorists were alleged to have killed 25 persons, including 3 children and 2 women, in Dundung village of Twak district in Bassa, local government of Plateau State. So the killings are still on, and I
heard a line there where
that something can be done.
We pray so too. I mean, just yesterday in Plateau State, 26 people, and the houses were burnt down. That's a lot of killing. And I heard a phrase that says the Fulani terrorists, not Fulani herdsmen anymore. Obviously they are terrorists. Obviously, I don't know, but just something needs to be done. Something definitely needs to be done. The security agencies need to be upgraded. We need to up our game, because it's not really words. You know, actions and no words but no actions is really nothing. That's what I think. Okay,
we have this one. Trump's fires Tillerson after visiting Nigeria. Tillerson, sorry. The United States President Donald Trump fires Secretary of the State Rex Tillerson on Tuesday after a series of public ref over policy on North Korea and Ireland, okay? Replacing his chief diplomat with Loyalists CIA Director Mike Pompeo, the biggest shakeup of Trump's cabinet since he took office in January 2017, was announced by the president on Twitter as his administration worked towards a meeting with the leader of North Korea, and this was reported yesterday. And some people are saying maybe because he came to Nigeria, maybe because he's dealing with Nigeria.
Sure, word on the streets.
But that's it for punch.
Okay, on the Vegas newspaper we have here, Buhari writes NAS declines assent to post reordering bill. Says amendments, that's the writer, says amendments will infringe on INEC's powers. Senators commence moves to override president's veto. The senators. And well, we'll talk about it later, but we covered this report that reverses back to Senator Sani's disclosure of senators receiving 13.5 million as monthly running costs. We'll talk about that later anyway. Here, a story here says, Buhari summons IGP over presidential order. Only 17% pass English maths as WAEC releases 2018 WACS results.
Well,
17%.
I wish the head of WAEC was here. He came on Monday, and he was here. We interviewed him. I guess some of you saw that interview. He said Nigerians are doing well, and their students are doing well. He talked a lot about WAEC and Nigerian students, how brilliant, how organized we are when we're looking at educational standard in Nigeria. We're looking at the sector, trying to extray this sector. And this man said, hey, the sector is just perfect. But I was against that because I know something was wrong somewhere. And now today's paper is telling us 20%.
17%.
17% past mathematics, isn't it?
English.
So if 17% passed English, what are we talking about? Don't you think we need to look into the educational sector in this country?
But yes. I guess he should have been here though. Okay, here, Buhari's comments on IGP, indication of incompetent PDP. Okay, the PDP is saying this. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has chided President Muhammad Buhari for saying he was unaware that Inspector General of Police, IGP, Ibrahim Idris, did not carry out his orders regarding the security situation in Benue State. According to the party, such admission shows that the president is running an incompetent and uncoordinated government. That's alleged. Okay, here Senate makes U-turn on confirmation of CBN DEP's government. Obasanjo Group denies endorsing SDP as its platform. Ahead of 2019 general elections, former President Olusegun Obasanjo's Coalition for Nigeria movement yesterday said the speculation that the movement has adopted Social Democratic Party as its political platform was not true. Well, rumors were going around that they were adopting SDP as a platform, though, and they are coming out to say no, that's not true.
Okay, let's see how it goes.
Okay, here, Senate backpedals on confirmation of CBN appointees, and that's on page 8. Let's take that story. The Senate yesterday made a U-turn on its earlier position not to screen nominees for Central Bank of Nigeria. The upper chamber said it agreed to consider and confirm the nominees for the position of deputy governors as members of Monetary Policy Committee to guard against a total collapse of the economy. I think that's only right. I mean, we should put a check into it. We just need to put a check on it because this is money. We have been having a series of situations where people embezzle and just give no reports. And the thing with Nigerians is when we have no clue about anything happening, we ask, but when we don't see results, we just ignore.
I think we should be accountable. We should ask questions. We should demand for things, for the right things. Demand. I think you need to demand from your leaders.
And here, Lassa fever claims 3 lives in Ekiti. Lassa again. Okay, I think yesterday we had the headline that says the U.S. is helping out with Lassa fever, and this body, was it the government, the federal government, is giving free checkups.
Yeah,
it's free.
For if you go to health centers, excuse me, Nigerian health centers, you need to. It's free. Just go and check. Go and check yourself.
And here, Evans sues police for 1 billion naira over stealing of his property. I mean, he's still suing, even in jail. Chukwudu Meme Onwamadike, popularly known as Evans, the alleged kidnap kingpin, yesterday filed a fresh 1 billion naira suit before a federal high court sitting in Lagos against the police over alleged unlawful stealing of his property in Lagos. Evans, through his counsel, Mr. Olukoya Ogujegbe, joined as respondents in the suit. The Inspector General Police, Nigeria Police, Inspector General of Police, Intelligence Reports Team, IRT. Okay. He is bringing the courts to declare that the forceful seizure, confiscation, and stealing of his property by the respondents without any court order is illegal and wrongful and unconstitutional. Okay.
Yes, he's free to go to court. He's free to, you're free as a human being. You have your rights. So his right is to do that until the court comes with their own, and we'll know if he can scale through. If you like, let it be 10 billion.
And he's really pulling strings even at his situation. Then you tend to look at it. I guess he knows his rights. And that calls to mind that I guess we Nigerians, we don't know our rights. We don't know. We don't.
Some Nigerians. I know
some
my
Nigerians.
rights.
Some
yes.
Nigerians. You know. But there are times that forces, agencies just prey on you, and you go on your knees begging.
No, that's those that doesn't know. You need to read.
That's the thing.
We need to begin to read. You can say that Nigerians don't read. Some people don't like to read. If an incident happened, you can Google up. You can go check up your rights in that, instance. Check if you're right about what you want to do. Find out if they're right as well. I think it all boils down to reading. But we move away from the Vanguard and we take the Nation newspaper this morning, and it says, we've restored stability in foreign exchange markets, says President. President Muhammad Buhari yesterday said the government has restored stability to the foreign exchange market. We have restored stability in foreign exchange markets and have recorded improvements in all foreign reserves, which have grown from 24 billion US dollars in September 2016 to 42 billion US dollars by mid-February 2018, and now 46 billion US dollars. This had been achieved partially because of the recovery of oil prices on the international market. The president spoke during the launch of the Focus Labs for the Administratives for Economic Recovery and Growth Plan in Abuja. He added that his administration had made remarkable strides in creating a conducive business environment for investors, earning the World Bank rating as one of the top 10 most improved economies in 2017. These had encouraged both local and foreign investments in the last few months, said the president. So he said we're improving, but I hope that this kind of news will go down to our pockets.
That's it.
I'm praying. I want to feel it.
Apart from him, the Buhari supporters are always going down that way. When you talk about Buhari did this, he didn't do that, they are always coming out this way that he did this, this news that just came out. They're always bragging about that. And yeah, it's a good thing. And yes, we have to commend the president for that. But at the same time, like you said, we hope that it gets down to the grassroots.
Yes.
Down to the grassroots, the masses.
I need all the money. I need to feel it.
And we need to feel it.
I don't want to be reading all of this.
The economy needs to feel it, and that's it. That's what we have to say. When you
talked about the president's supporters, that they just support even when he's not doing the right thing, I don't think we should continue in that kind of lines. You shouldn't be sentimental when it comes to the country's economy. We shouldn't be sentimental because if you go to the market like I do, you will understand what is happening in the country right now. Prices have skyrocketed. Monies aren't available for people to purchase.
100%.
And so the whole system is like, but someone said, you know what? It's coming up gradually. We want it to come up gradually. But if the president or the administration or this administration isn't doing something you think is right, you can speak up. And if they are doing something right, we can, commend them. Give them kudos if they're doing something right. It's not right to keep saying they're not doing anything. If you know they're doing something right, it's better we say they are doing. And if they're not, Please, let's all talk. Let all of us speak out. Well, I'll take some stories in the nation also, more stories here. Anxiety in Senate. House as Buhari reject Paul's bill. And the writer says senators seek legal opinion. Bill infringes on Constitution. There was anxiety in the Senate and the House of Representatives yesterday following President Muhammad Buhari's rejection of the bill on the reordering of 2019 election sequence. Excuse me. The Senate and the House on February 14 adopted the conference report of the Electoral Act amendment. Unlike what is in the Electoral Act, in which elections will hold on two legs, presidential, National Assembly, and governorship, State Assembly, amendment is a three-leg process: National Assembly, governorship, assemblies, and presidential. But the president, in his response to the lawmakers, which was read on the floor yesterday, declined assent to that bill. It's something we'll talk about.
Definitely.
Now,
But
yes, the National Assembly declining loads of things, the president also declining loads of things. We're going to talk about all of this maybe next week or this week. We have this: police recover 6 guns, grenades, military fatigue. And the writer says 14 suspected robbers are arrested. The police in Bayelsa State have intensified their war against robbers terrorizing Yanagwa, the capital, and its environs. Within a week of continuous raid under the Operation Safer Bayelsa project of the police commissioner, Mr. Don Nwama, crack team of the command arrested over 14 robbers. We also have this land use charge. Lawyers march in Lagos. Lawyers yesterday held a protest against the Lagos State Land Use Charge Act, describing it as anti-people. They held the protesters to the House of Assembly at Alausa Ikeja, a stone throw from the governor's office, where they complained about the law to the lawmakers. Chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, Lagos branch, Adeshino Ogunlano, told reporters that the placards bearing protesters did not see any good in the law. And this land use charge, Anthony.
Personally,
this land use charge.
Yes. You look at it, and you see that right now in Lagos, I'm just being like Lagos, it's really difficult to pay rent. It's difficult to and you know how it is, time runs, you pay your rent for a year, 2 years, the agent and agreement fee, like about twice the money you pay for your rent, and that's being a burden to an average Nigerian. You now tend to increase the charge, which will fall on the tenants, not even on the landlords, because the landlords are just going to be there doing their thing. You know, anything that happens, they inflate it on the tenants. And at the end of the day, they are the ones to suffer. Anyway,
okay, we'll just wrap up this. But the last story I'll take is the International Women's Day, a platform to celebrate achievers, pet-sitters, and pet-sitters. Well, Anthony didn't get to celebrate me that day.
No, I celebrate you.
He didn't even buy me anything.
I celebrate you.
He didn't even say, well done.
I'm even celebrating you right now.
He never did that. But anyway, I celebrated myself, and I know loads of people celebrated the woman food. It is easy. Don't let me say it's not easy to be a woman, working, taking care of the house, taking care of the man,
sister,
the
mother,
home, children, everything.
Father, everything.
But anyway, I'm celebrating the woman folks. I keep celebrating every day. Well, this is where we come to an end of the segment. We'll go on a break. When we come back, we're going to be looking at what we discussed earlier this morning, what we talked about, negotiating with armed group, how appropriate. We're looking at the tactics. Is this not risky? We have a guest in the studios. We'll be right back.
SuperDawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen Television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back, where we want to look at negotiating with Herdsmen, how appropriate. Earlier this year, last year, the president said that technically that the Boko Haram has been defeated. But surprisingly, after that statement, we begin to see that these people are beginning to terrorize communities and killing people. Well, today we want to look at it. If
do their businesses and do their businesses.
Would you, would you negotiate with this set of people, with this kind of people? My opinion doesn't matter in this program today. I'm going to leave it open for the guests to tell us, and also allow viewers like you to make up your mind if we should or we shouldn't. But we have a guest in the studio this morning. We have Boko is a security expert and a consultant. Good morning to you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Good morning.
Thank you, my brother. I hope I'm not going to be sandwiched between two salvos.
Well, you're okay here.
This is frightful.
This is family.
Okay, let me start by asking this question. Can you help us define these groups? When we say armed groups.
Yes. Armed groups are people, specifically speaking, I'm not generalizing now, people who are illegally equipped with different forms of arms that are deadly, prohibited arms. It can be any form of arms, from guns, from knives, anything that you can use to defile the person's body, to defile the person's house, to harm somebody, and to kill, to maim, whatever. So it can range from possession of firearms, weapons, and to incendiaries, In other words, I'm talking about IEDs, you know, incendiary explosive devices and all that. And sometimes they can be equipped with sharp swords and knives that they use to mutilate, to kill, and to maim people.
Okay, defining armed group. In 2014, Boko Haram abducted 200 schoolgirls.
Yes,
Chibok girls. And after that adoption, something happened. We negotiated,
yes.
But then it was said that the Red Cross International had a committee and they got these girls back after 2 years. Some girls were released, you know, after 2 years.
Yes.
And after that, we begin to see where people are being kidnapped, people are being killed. We heard of the Fulani Herdsmen. We had people killing each other. And again, we also heard where they took some children, even in Lagos, boarding houses, in Lagos school, they were also abducted again. And after that again, we keep hearing where people are being taken away, innocent people are being taken away by armed men. Looking at all of this scenario, and the dark chick girls also came up at all of this scenario, do you think, now the president in Taraba said, we are negotiating not because we want to negotiate, but because we want to look at it tactically to make sure this lady, these children are alive safe, they come alive safe. Do you think?
I am excited. Yes, I'm excited by the fact that our present president was a military general. I'm excited by that. Again, there is what we call military tactics in response to terrorism. We talk about international acceptable standards. The Americans will not negotiate with you, even though they have what we call up-to-date military equipment to fight terrorism. If I can cast your memory back to 1970 something, I can't be precise now, when there was a hijack of people, the Israelis also, Kentebe airport thing. The Israelis did not negotiate, and they had to come with military tactics. There is a particular veteran in terrorist approach, a Chinese man, Chan Liu also. He discourages the concept of negotiation. In the first place, I told you I'm excited by the fact that the head of state was a military man, but the practice in Nigeria is that everybody is too primordial. Primordial in the sense that we talk about old tradition and then embed it with ethnic agenda, and then this idea of fear of poverty. And so everybody is creating a situation that is comfortable for them to benefit financially from the national pulse. And so they brought the concept of negotiation. It is very strange. You are talking about an armed militia that do not have a base that you can reach. People who do not have a place that you can say, okay, I can go to this place and negotiate with them. People, again, whose tactics are deceptive. In fact, if you look at Boko Haram, their ideologies are sandwiched in delusion. I do not know what their ideologies are. They attack Christians, they attack Muslims, they attack children, they attack pregnant women, they kill everybody. I'm coming back to the Fulani militia because that one is going to throw me into another political dimension altogether. Now, when you negotiate with terrorists, you embolden their psychology to attack. In the first place, these are groups of people you cannot even trust to start with. And again, when you begin to approach them with military tactics and begin to weaken their strength and their arms and armament, the next thing they are going to talk about is for us to negotiate. How do you negotiate? They are not going to talk about, first of all, they will say, swap this number of people for us, give us so amount of money in foreign currency. What do they do with the money? To re-equip themselves with the arms and to begin to, expand their factory where they make all these incendiaries, to be able to purchase some of the elements that they use in making the incendiaries and then to unleash mayhem again on you. So the concept of negotiation was born out of the fact of the greed of people to make money.
Okay, so the greed of people to make money.
Yes.
From the government?
Yes, government representatives. Government representatives.
Okay, so you mean the government is also
My brother, I am telling you from the point of view of good security, Boko Haram should have been a thing of the past by now. if we are thoroughly focused, if we are truthful to one another.
But you said that we are talking about a group that don't have a base.
Yes, yes.
But it is confirmed, or should I say, reports says Sambisa Forest is their base.
It is a lie. Now, let me tell you something. The military comes out today with a propaganda. Is that so? They come out with a propaganda because they have an agenda. They come out with a propaganda. We have attacked Sambisa Forest. We did area surveillance because they have surveillance aircrafts. That's correct. And then the pictures they will take, the information they will get, and then they say we pinpointed their location. We attacked this location. We attacked that location. And they have been flushed out from Sambisa Forest. That is the propaganda you hear, isn't it? Yes. Tomorrow, they will tell you Sambisa Forest is a stronghold. Nobody can get in there. You have flushed somebody. See, now there is a tactic, defensive tactics we know about. When you take a location, what do? You fortify that location with your men, personnel, and arms to prevent a further reoccupation of that place. And again, to psychologically reassure the indigents of that place that they can be protected.
So you are saying that the military is lying?
The military has been giving us a lot of doses of lies.
Okay, I want to, with what you have said, talking about the military giving us dozens of lies, looking at what they've said,
yes.
Are you saying that they're trying to encourage insurgency by paying ransom to criminals?
You see,
are they encouraging insurgency?
Let me take you back to the era of Jonathan. I will come and answer that question. And in case I miss that question, please remind me. I will take you back to the era of our last president, Jonathan. Jonathan specifically, unequivocally mentioned that his administration was infiltrated by Boko Haram loyalists and supporters. Is that not so? In that case, we are talking about the military hierarchy. Now, the military barracks in security, they are reckoned to be hard targets. These are places that cannot be easily accessible, for example, to militia groups. Yet, these people go to these barracks and steal a haul of arms and ammunition. How is it possible? Infiltration. You are talking about die-hard loyalists that are there. And because of that, every movement Jonathan wanted to take was completely frustrated because people are using the existence of Boko Haram to amass stupendous wealth. And I am telling you now, there are those people who are the same people building IDP camps. They are the same people who are saying we are providing aids, we are providing relief materials, we are negotiating with these people.
Because those are your thoughts anyway, but we're looking at what I asked you, looking at all the scenarios.
Yes.
If we negotiate with these criminals,
you are equipping them with much more money.
I'll come back. I want to finish up. If we negotiate with these criminals,
yes, please.
I'm putting in mind that they are people's children.
Yes.
If we negotiate with them, are you saying the government is encouraging insurgency?
Yes, government.
Are they encouraging it?
Government is doing. See, I am even talking from a very, very pathetic heart this morning. First of all, I have been a very strong advocate of the fight to tell Buhari some of the home truths that he perhaps may never have heard. I was watching with dismay on television the day before yesterday when one lady spoke her heart out and said she was disappointed at the intellectual limitation of President Buhari. It is not my word. I wouldn't do that because he's my president. Whether or not he has the kind of the intellectual limitation that is not expected of somebody of his caliber, I will still be able to protect him because he's my president. But we are talking about the same thing they are doing now to encourage the Fulani herdsmen. This is exactly what they have done with Boko Haram, and the Fulani herdsmen will also come up with that later. Negotiate with us. You see that? Negotiating means equipping these people, because by the time they begin to run out of arms and ammunition, again, when you begin to deconstruct the minds of the terrorists themselves and they begin to lose commanders because of the construction of the mind. It is not supposed to be a military warfare.
But in a situation where the abductors give
conditions,
a condition
yes,
and a deadline,
yes,
and tells if you don't meet this deadline, if you don't do this before so date,
Yes.
this is what will happen.
Who have they killed?
proof.
Who have they killed?
No. I mean, we don't have
I
we
don't
don't have
want
to
to
wait for that.
Yes.
I mean, we don't have to
Excuse
wait.
me.
Yes.
We've seen where this barbaric act is done.
Yes.
We've seen where they've killed people.
Yes.
But the question now is, would you rather allow them to kill the children?
They will not kill them.
Should we take the risks? It's not risks.
Yes.
It's a risk
Because
that
these guys are not behaving like a normal human being.
I will tell you something.
So should we rather allow them to kill those children?
I will give you.
I mean, because you understand that
I will
the
give you an
herdsmen
appropriate
killed about
scenario.
70.
I will give you an appropriate scenario. When you are caught, or perhaps taken by armed robbers, the Boko Harams too are armed robbers. When you are taken by a group of armed robbers, you are at risk. Is that not so? First of all, they are going to make demands on you. Give us this. And they will want to threaten you to be able to extract the truth of the information from you, whether or not you have it. Do not forget, these are also human beings that have blood running in their veins and have feelings like you, except for desperation.
That's what we are saying. If they are desperate,
Then you are going to take a retinue of examples. They kidnapped Chibok girls. The worst they did was they made them wives and early mothers. Secondly, they were able to penetrate the minds, the psyche of these children, that the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria cannot protect you. Instead, they are destroying your very essence. You do not have any history of the fact or illusion that any of the girls was killed either because of her religious proclivity or affiliation, or because she disagreed with them. There was no report of that.
But what you just said, they made them wives.
Yes.
Isn't that enough reason why we should try and bring them back?
Well, first, we are talking about human feelings. There were those that were released and ran back into the forest. You see that? You are a human being. She is a human being. The issue of your feelings are independent to you. I cannot talk about that. And I do not have a history of anybody who was forced into motherhood. I think it was willingly accepted.
Well, moving away from the adopters, when you come back to the herdsmen.
Yes.
On the year they killed about 76 people in Benue.
Yes, from my state, precisely.
And after that, we've had series of killings.
Yes.
Now, in a situation where these herdsmen come and make demands, 76 people, that's a lot of people there.
Demand here is out of the equation. My impression is that of complete disappointment.
Can we hear why you
Yes, first of all, I think 2015, in an open square, President Muhammad Buhari, with all due respect, held a copy of the Nigerian Constitution in his hands, and then the Quran on the other side, and swore to protect the regional integrity and safety of Nigeria, and to protect all Nigerians without bias. Now, anybody who is carrying arms without proper authorization is called illegal possession. Is that also? Of firearms. What is the penalty by the provision of the Constitution? The Fulanis, I have come from an agrarian community. That is the main job of Benue people. And that is why Benue is referred to as food basket of the nation. And the attack is not only limited to Benue. It went to Anambra, all the eastern states. It's gone to Bayelsa. It's gone to Port Harcourt. It's gone to Ekiti. It's gone to Oyo. It's gone to Ile-Ife. All the regions of Nigeria. And then people now say, no, they are not herdsmen. They are what? Terrorists. Underline the word, terrorists. What is Nigerians' military approach to terrorists or terrorism? What is happening with Boko Haram and the military? They are facing terrorism squarely, even though they are beguiling us with a lot of truths that we ought to know. Now, if you say these people are terrorists and they are bearing arms illegally, you do not even involve the police because they kill the police, and you are sitting down as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and you are not telling the military men to get involved because people are terrorizing your state. I'm not even going to prefer solution from border control. Our borders are very porous. Then I sat down at home the other time and I was thinking, why should these things be permitted? Inside of my thinking, I said, is the president subtly sponsoring these people without telling Nigerians why he's doing it? Because he's a Fulani man.
But remember, the president said that.
What he said is immaterial.
No, but let me tell you what he said so that we can all be on the same page. He said, if you are caught with any arms, you go to court, straight off.
Good, but they are aware, is that not so, that these Fulani herdsmen are in possession of AK-47 rifles. Now, what happened in the Niger Delta when these boys took to the creeks? You had the Navy unleashed on them. You have the Nigerian Army unleashed on them because they were reputed to be causing what? Mayhem.
I'm going to come back to that. We have a caller. We'll come back to that.
Yes, please.
Let's get this caller. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Please, I want to contribute to your program.
Go ahead.
The federal government needs to negotiate with Boko Haram for the releasing of the children girls and to calm the situation down. But the government needs to be aware that Boko Haram are terrorist groups. They don't need the money. They don't need.
I think you're too close to your phone or something.
Hello?
Okay.
I think they need to be aware that Boko Haram are terrorist groups and they don't need the money because they have to keep us from going there. They have to get
Okay, I wanted to ask you this question. We didn't hear you very well, but I wanted to ask you. Should we negotiate with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Did he say we should negotiate?
I didn't get that. That's why I said I wasn't.
I would have asked him a question. Why he thinks we should negotiate and why we shouldn't negotiate. The simple truth is this. When the Niger Deltans now said, come, we are marginalized. And it is true, if you have been to their environment, that what is happening in the country is a systematic attempt at extincting us from the affairs of this country. Now you are taking the black gold, the wealth from our place. There are no hospitals to take care of us because of air pollution, water pollution. We do not have any other means of livelihood. You are spoiling the place. They took arms and went into the forest. Nigeria unleashed the Navy on them because of the creeks.
Okay.
They unleashed the armed forces on them. And then they were forced on their knees to surrender their arms.
Are you seeing this?
Now, the Fulani herdsmen are all over the place.
Yes.
They can be found. You see that? They can be found. The states, the various states in Nigeria, say to the president, allow us to operate a state police so that we can have a very quick response to someone. No, you cannot. Now, why is he not unleashing the military on them?
Do you think that the military are weak? They can't handle this? Because
it is not the military that is weak.
I'll come back to you. Our military have fought war in Sierra Leone,
yes.
in Liberia.
Yes.
They've helped assisted other countries.
Yes.
But do you think our militaries are weak?
No. It's political limitation.
From whose part?
On the part of the rulers of the country. If the president does not give the military head an order, he cannot act on his own. He cannot.
So everything now boils down to the president.
The commander-in-chief of the armed forces must give that express order. And that is what they wait for. Now, the military went to Makurdi and started conducting exercises. What exercise? To scare those people. When they are having the backing of the ruling class, how can they be scared by you?
The president sent the IG to...
And IG defied it. IG did not go. And what did he do? He said, I reprimanded the IG quietly.
Okay, let me get this call.
It's funny.
Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah.
Good morning to you. Yes.
Hello.
Good morning to you. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hey. Go ahead. Good morning to you. We can hear you.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yes.
He said, and to the surprise of the right-thinking members of society like some of us that I reprimanded the IG quietly. Why did he do that? ID was carrying out his script. That was what the ID was doing. It is like a drama.
You think so?
It is not a matter of thinking. You can read between the lines. When Donald Trump, with his Tillerson, whatever, had disagreement on principles, on foreign policies, on ideologies, what did he do? Please get out of my cabinet. Now, you are talking about situations that has to do with life. Situations having to do with lives of people that cannot be quantified. They have killed severally in Benue State. They went to the Agatu community and killed countless number of people. Nothing was done. The president did not visit. They now went to Makurdi, killed 70. The president did not visit. Now they went to Okpoku again and killed quite a number of people, innocent souls. They went to Anambra, killed. They went to Falaye's house, the secretary to the federal government.
I'm going to hold you on there.
This is terrible.
Yes. Hello. Good morning to you.
Yeah. Good morning.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is Samuel calling from Bagada.
Okay, Samuel, go ahead.
Yeah. What I want to say is that what this man is saying is the bitter truth. The president is not capable, and does not want to admit that. So what I think you should do is just for him to resign, because he cannot handle Nigeria, and he's too good, and he's not telling us the truth. How can people carrying white food when the IPOP group are, protesting, what do they call them? The terrorists. Now people are carrying rifle, people that are meant to be herdsmen, carrying white food, and you cannot call them a terrorist. What should you call that? Is it white or?
Okay, thank you, Samuel. I think
what I'm trying to say is that
I don't know if it's the decibel of the voice, but we cannot really hear you well. But keep calling, and if you have a question or you want to prefer a solution. But should we negotiate? Is it risky to negotiate with terrorists? Is it risky? Yes, you were saying something.
Yes, I was talking
about the language of the president.
That is correct. And again, I feel disappointed by his response. You went to a place, people, and you have come out severally and in defense of the president. Garba Shehu, who is a media guru, is also obviating the public from the facts of this matter. It's quite a shame. And they will come out and say these people are not Nigerians. In other words, there is territorial invasion. Is that also? What are the soldiers there for? One of their cardinal principles is to protect the country from territorial invasion. And then, if these people are reputed to be foreigners, what should the soldiers do?
I'm going to hold you on there again. Yes. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you.
I don't really have much to say, but there is not a certification. You can't certificate the color. It's not a certificate. Let's know the right. Let's do the right.
For you, should we negotiate?
There's no better certification.
Should we negotiate?
No.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for calling, and let's allow the guest.
Yes. So, if the president is paying lip service to the countless number of murders in the country, then let us ask ourselves a question. Can't we read between the lines? Are we not educated? Are you talking to a bunch of people who are not educated? And we can discern between the truth and the falsehood. We know who is lying and we know who is telling the truth. You say these are foreigners and you come to my environment and say, we should give peace a chance. What peace? People are coming with AK-47 rifles. They are shooting and killing small children, pregnant women, defenseless people. And you say they are foreigners, yet we should give peace a chance. In other words, you allow these foreigners to come and you say we should live together.
But the indigents are not armed.
Good, that is why I'm saying senseless killing.
The foreigners are armed. Wouldn't it be just easy enough to just not involved in that violence? Because the more you retaliate, the more
now,
killing.
Listen,
because
if you have Ghanaians coming to Nigeria with arms today to fight, what is it? Territorial invasion.
Yes.
What is the military there for? To prevent this act from happening. Now, you have said unequivocally that these people are not Fulani herdsmen. They are coming from Chad. You say there are some people that are the remnants of the Libyan civil war. They are foreigners, you said. Let the military attack them headlong.
Okay.
But you have not allowed the military to do so.
Okay, we have a caller again. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, this is Samuel from my 12.
Okay, Samuel, good morning. Go ahead.
I just want to congratulate you people who are doing a marvelous job.
Thank you.
And like the customer, you make your patient to talk about our country. And you can see the country is in shambles. They are just deceiving the people every day with their words and not with their actions. You can see what happened in 2014. That is what happened in this year. The year to election where they will go and adopt children and expect the country to be paying for their inefficiency, their security, how will I say no? Their security negligence. You understand? I like the man you brought the other day, that's Mr. I can't really remember his name. He said something that why people are adopting people's children is because people are making herdsmen from it. You understand? They do this thing purposely just because they are making millions of dollars from all this action that they're doing.
Okay, Samuel, I wanted to ask you, don't go away. I wanted to ask, if you have your children amongst these children, would you say they shouldn't negotiate? If you have a child amongst them, will you say they shouldn't negotiate? Okay?
It is a bad scenario. You understand? We used to have a saying in my place. It said, if you were in a canoe in the water with your wife and with your mother, and the canoe capsizes, who would you save? Your mother, your wife. Who are you likely to save? That is the situation we have found ourselves. If you are in the midst of crossfire, it is either you survive it or you become a victim.
Now maybe I should ask you the same question.
Yes.
If you have your child amongst those children being adopted,
yes.
Would you?
Would you?
It's an unfortunate circumstance.
To negotiate or not?
It's an unfortunate circumstance. They will not negotiate all the same. Because I am a security, they will not negotiate.
The color's view will be different.
They will not negotiate.
Yes. Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
This is Rex from Bagada.
Okay, Rex, good morning to you. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Yes.
This thing about the Fulani herdsmen, this thing is something that I believe that outside Fulani, our leaders, are the ones that are planning all this. What is that script they have written? How to kill all the Christians. Remember, like in Taraba, you will check that all the communities they have been killing people are Christians in Benue. They just want to take over all the places. In the other states, in Upuluku, they killed the king of the village, and nothing has been done. Even they caught one of the people that killed him in Asaba, in one of those Hausa markets there. The Fulani, they did not do anything, so they released the guy, the man died. A lot of things have been happening. Imagine what all the killings have been killing in Benue, what the IG has been saying.
You need to wrap up. We don't have much time.
The government did not sack him. All the things they do, they have been killing people anyhow. IPOP, they did not kill one soul, but they went to
So what do you want the government
and
to
killed
do?
a lot of them.
Yes.
It is very bad. This man goes because this man is causing more war in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you.
I think I am not a politician. I do not want to be one. But I would want to believe that the advisors of the president are not doing a decent job because of somebody's naive interest for his pocket. He is forgetting that the whole lives of the citizens of this country ought to be defended by the president. and they do not advise the president properly because of the money they are likely to make from this. That is the same thing Sambo Dasuki is facing.
But remember, the president was a military man.
He was.
When we talk about security, don't you think he has bundle of ideas?
He is beclouded by political naivety now, and he's beclouded by sectional interest. I am not going to introduce religious coloration into this, because as far as the Boko Haram insurgents are concerned, they do not know a Christian, they do not know a Muslim. As far as they are concerned, even the Muslims are not practicing proper Islam.
Okay, we have a caller. We have a caller. After the caller, Anthony, you ask questions. Yes. Hello. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I want to ask you a question. First of all, you said that the president said if you an Israeli seeking for the
we didn't get that question.
and let's begin.
We didn't hear you.
To the court.
I think maybe your phone, your mouth is too close.
Me and you, without arm, will a man with the AK-47 and seeking to the court. It's critical. What is the duty of police and the army? Their power is only on harmless iPhone. You know, where the people who doesn't carry arms, they will go and kill. Now they tell us to protect the man who is for the and part of journalism I used to say. If there is nothing happening in Nigeria, they will bring live events, like in America. If maybe 2 or 3 days, you will see people talking about those things. As we are talking now, they are killing people.
Okay. You need to wrap it up. We don't have much time on our side. You need to wrap it up. Okay, thank you, Simeon, for calling. Yes, because
these herdsmen have carefully avoided Katsina State. Have you ever heard that herdsmen penetrated Katsina State and killed anybody or burnt houses? Why is the president for dragging on this matter? If these people are coming from outside and they are not Nigerians, then unleash the military on them.
Well, the Boko Haram's insurgents, they have, reports has it that they have sophisticated weapons, real sophisticated weapons, and their trucks are more like what the Nigerian army doesn't even have.
Brother,
Would you say?
That is propaganda. Propaganda in the sense that did the arms come through the Nigerian airspace? Did they come through the Nigerian waters or the land borders? Don't we have security network in all these areas?
So are you saying that our security agencies aren't doing their work, or the president or this administration is weak to handle? Remember that the past administration also faced Boko Haram. Are you saying that this administration is weak in handling this case?
And lucidly that Jonathan confessed to the whole country that my cabinet is infiltrated by Boko Haram loyalists. And because of that, his hands were tied, he couldn't do anything.
So is it that
so much money to Sambo Dasuki, who went into the market and was jolly riding with the money with his friends?
So is it the security that is weak,
the soldiers are strong? They are well trained. They are well equipped. They have been receiving foreign aids. They have been receiving foreign arms. Turkey gave them. US has been giving them. And just the Minister of the External Affairs recently said after his meeting with Tillerson that the American government is soon to donate a very sophisticated aircraft to the Nigerian government. They are receiving all these things, but the problem is that the military high command will need an order from the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and the president of Nigeria to be able to act precisely.
We'll come back to that. There was an interview we conducted. I want us to watch, and we'll be back with that. Let's get this interview.
Officially labeled as terrorists, that's one thing. They are herdsmen killing people. Or there is also the debate about whether they are actually herdsmen or they are attacking people on the pretext of being herdsmen. Criminals are criminals. You do not negotiate with criminals. These aren't taking hostages, they are killing. And the security forces of Nigeria have a responsibility to check them, to stop them. But how can you negotiate with people who go on killing other people? Officially, they have not been labeled terrorists in the sense of the Boko Haram. They are people who kill people. They are like assassins. They are like armed robbers. They are like arsonists. So they need to be dealt with as criminals. So you do not negotiate with criminals. In the case of Boko Haram, who are known terrorists, you are negotiating with them because, or you are trying to negotiate with them, or there's a call for negotiation because they have deliberately held some people as hostages, as baits, as instruments of negotiation. In the case of the herdsmen, they storm villages, they storm territories, they kill people, they take no hostage, they annihilate a whole village, they, turn a whole territory into rubbles. Why? How do you negotiate with such people? You meet them fire for fire and you deal with them. Negotiating with herdsmen wouldn't make sense. Negotiating with Boko Haram, a terrorist group, can only make sense because you have the Chibok girls or you have the Dapchi girls and you hope to free them. But in the case of the herdsmen, we are showing ourselves as a country to be helpless, as if there is a failure of the institutions of state in terms of security. I do not think it's appropriate to negotiate with herdsmen. What is important is that we need to meet them, we need to deal with them, we need to stop them, we need to arrest people who are responsible for these things and do the needful.
Coming to your question, it's not right that federal government should continue to negotiate with the terrorists. Are we saying that federal government cannot fight terrorists and destroy them? Why we keep negotiating and spending money on this issue? I believe by now Nigerian soldiers should be able to quench the crime, quench the terrorists from existence. My position is that the federal government has spent a lot of money on this same issue and the crime is still going on. Personally, what I can say is that it's like federal government has hand in the menace. So we should tell ourselves the truth, because I believe that Nigerian army is so strong that even other African countries are coming here to learn from us. So why is it that we cannot quench this crime?
Why not? I for one, would like government to negotiate with terrorists. All we need in this country now is peace. So much hula baloo about insecurity, about food, joblessness, homelessness. Government should, for me, government should negotiate with terrorists and let us have peace. Peace is all we need for now. Yes, that is what they will tell you. But behind the scene, most governments negotiate with terrorists. Give and take. That is what it takes. Thank you.
Welcome back. Well, you heard what the people were saying.
The last comment, the last man amazed me. He says what we want now is peace. These people that are attacking Nigeria, the Boko Haram, know very well that they are guilty of treasonable felony. By the time you arrest us, it is either you kill us or you put us in life imprisonment. Therefore, we cannot vacate our ideology. And you are talking about peace. They are saying, okay, give us money in exchange for your people so that we can use this money to provide medicals for our commanders and our fighters, to provide arms, to be able to re-equip ourselves, to relaunch much more attacks, to produce EIDs or IEDs, incendiary devices, to attack installations and people in Nigeria. I think what they have told people in very clear terms is that the Nigerian government cannot provide the protection, and I think that at the hierarchy of the Nigerian government, President Buhari has subtly agreed with it.
Okay, but maybe I should tell you what the president said recently.
Yes.
And I think I need to do that. He said that the abducted Nigerians will be given utmost attention and care with priority on safety. So why are you saying he's not doing that?
The problem is this. I am not a small boy. I was here. I was in secondary school when Nigeria transited from military government to civilian government in the time of Shagari. I had all the campaigns, maybe as a young boy. But the Bible tells you, when I was young, I thought like a young child. But now that I am an adult, my thinking has changed. And I have been following political developments. Politicians even say to you, we don't even believe in the things that we say. Why do you believe us? All these are political gimmicks. They can say this to people who do not know anything.
So are you saying the president is doing a lip service? Is that what you're saying?
You are a media person. I did a master's in broadcast, and there is something we have, hypodermic needle theory.
Yes.
The hypodermic needle theory is that it's assumed that the common people do not know anything. Therefore, we should give information from top to the bottom. And that is what they are doing. But we are telling them that we know these things. See, Buhari is losing popularity very, very quickly in the whole of the East. Your herdsmen have come to attack us, you've done nothing, and they are still killing. These are terrorists. In the North Central, forget about Plateau. Plateau has been on fire. Benue State is on fire. In the North Central, there is fire. In the Southwest, where did they come all the way to the Southwest, is on fire. Tell me where his popularity is. Benue State is APC controlled state. And the killings are going on only for you to come and say, give peace a chance. In other words,
shouldn't we give peace a chance? Anthony, you wanted to ask a question.
We should.
Anthony,
Let me ask a question
and
now.
This will be the last caller, please. Let's have this last caller. The calls are not allowing us. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, I'm comrade. I enjoy what my chief also is speaking. God will strengthen him to prosper and in Jesus' name.
Okay.
You people like you have potential power to be better place.
We straining to hear you.
My comment is this. I am saying the way the country is run. I am bitter the way the country is run. You read in the newspaper where they say killing in Benue, killing in Taraba, killing in Nasarawa, you see women on TV running from where they are to other shoulders because they see what is happening to this country. Jihad war or cyber war, what is happening to this country? Fulani Herdsmen killing people. When Jonathan was the president, the negotiators, they called the military order and they stopped. You know what was the president? So we were stopping. Ask them to video to do that. And he cautioned them and they stopped.
I think you need to wrap up. You need to just wrap it up.
Okay, let me wrap up. You should call it Fulani Herdsmen to order. You should call it Fulani Herdsmen to order.
Okay, calling the president to order. You said you're Raymond. Where exactly are you calling him from? Where exactly?
I'm calling from Badore in Lagos.
Okay, where is Badore?
This is a jihad war.
Okay, thank you so much. I guess Badore is Niger. Okay. Yes, because we must wrap up now. And Anthony, you wanted to ask the last question?
Let me say something before others. Now, if the Benue indigenes were going into their bushes and killing herdsmen, if the Igbos in the southeast were going into the bushes and killing herdsmen, if the people of the Niger Delta were going into the bushes and killing herdsmen as constantly as the herdsmen are butchering and murdering them, if those of the southwest were going into the bushes and killing herdsmen, the military would have been unleashed on them.
So are you saying the president is being weak or he's being corrupt?
He's being wicked.
Okay, that's your thoughts. A lot of people feel that, hey, this president is trying, but you said is not at all. But looking at this, we've seen where the government gives amnesty. Remember that there is a negotiator that will negotiate on behalf of the government.
Yes.
And you have said that's no for you.
Yes.
It's not going to help us.
Yes.
What will help us? We must wrap up now. What do you think will help us? That we will do, and it's not going to affect the lives of those people that have been abducted. What do you think we can do as a people?
China is coming up with a policy just now that the military should be run according to the laws of the people. And they should be given the independence to work. Our military officers are very professional. Do not interfere. Call this man. Now, this is the reality we are facing in the security situation of this country. What can we do? I want you to go inside your library, come up with solutions that will extinct these people in the next 1 year.
What do you think is the solution? Your final word.
The solution is give the military the independence of operations. Do not interfere with their operations and their decisions. And face it squarely. Refuse to be biased.
Okay, I want to thank our guest, Joe Ogbo. He is a security expert and a consultant. Thank you for coming on this segment of the program.
It's my pleasure.
Well, we'll go on this break. Up next is SuperDawn Sports. And Chelsea is playing today. And guess who they're playing with? Not to worry. The sports people will come and talk more on that. Let's go on the break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's sports segment, and I have Prince Will Ovieson with me this morning. Prince Will, good morning to you.
Good morning. You look very bright.
Wow. Chelsea is playing today, and I'm going to read that match. Like, never, bro. I'm going to watch the match, and tomorrow we'll talk about it. Someone says in the papers this morning, never write off Chelsea.
Obviously, but it's going to be a very tough game.
We're going to deal with Baka. I tell you, Prince Will.
I'll coach you.
We'll deal with Baka.
I'll coach you.
I have to go out of the set for Prince Will to continue, and when we come back, when it's done, I'll come back.
"17 years on in the same arena where these two legends of the game were scheduled to meet. Tonight they come together again. This time it is safe to say the atmosphere is one of love, joy and positivity for two sisters who have transcended a sport, Venus and Serena Williams. Emphatically saved.
Just steps up the aggression, gets down to business.
quality. And we go on in this second game of this first set.
Deuce.
It's nicely done. That's a wonderful winner again. His forehand is sizzling tonight.